Hello, we're bringing you yet another episode of the exciting conversations hosted by the Israel Conference. I'm Sharona Justman, I'm the co founder of the Israel Conference, and today we're joined by Yoav Hoshen, who is the co founder and senior executive vice president for Water IO, which is the new name for Impact X. It's a company that's traded on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and today we're going to learn a lot about Yoav, Water IO, and what's happening in Israel today. Yoav, welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you, Sharona, and good morning, and happy to be invited to your show.
Well, thank you very much. Yoav, we've known each other for many years, meeting at tech conferences in Israel and in Las Vegas at CES, and enjoying each other's company and knowledge. And you've worked with a number of companies throughout the years as I've known you. And today you are putting all your muscle and energy into quite an impactful area of water, smart water, hydration with Water IO. But first, tell us a little bit about your background. I understand that you are also in the legal world by education.
Hmm, that's true. I used to study law in law school in Tel Aviv University many years ago, and actually completed my bar exams. Then I simply took the bar certificate, hang it on the front wall of my toilets room in my apartment, where everyone can see it, and continue to tech, which was always a fascinating and a passion for me. So yeah, that's correct.
Well, at least it's connected to water still. So
It is. But it took some time until we reached water. So in the past 25 years, I was building several companies and helping also other companies, all in the tech business, to accelerate their business from zero to eight digits in revenues. So my passion is actually help people change their lives throughout innovation and technology. So
tell us about the few companies that you helped co-found prior to Water IO.
Sure. So prior to Water IO, I was also the co-founder of Superb Reality, which is a company dealing with hand gesture and hand motion control systems for AR and VR glasses. Imagine Minority Reports, Tom Cruise waving his hands and controlling that scene, that famous scene. So that's a kind of technology that we have been developing in Superb Reality. Um,
You were very early in that category, I
That's
remember.
true.
Uh,
That's true. AR and VR was a very exciting domain at that time, and it was the next promise, the next platform. But it took many years until eventually that market started to release affordable and good devices, which were the carrier of our technology. And Apple just launched it a year ago. The long waiting anticipated the AR glasses by Apple. But that
yes.
that wasn't the only company I co-founded. Before that, I co-founded Beyond Verbal, which was later acquired by Localis Health. And what we did over there is we have been analyzing people's emotions and detecting their emotions by analyzing their tone of voice and intonation. So we understood what is your emotion and even some of your medical condition just by listening to your tone. And that was an AI company. Again,
Once again, very ahead of the curve because the area of it veers into that whole mental health sphere, which is an exploding area, and to be able to detect someone's emotional state or attitude through their voice sound is was really groundbreaking.
That's true, and we did a lot of study and research. We published articles with Mayo Clinics about the ability to analyze and give a prediction for heart disease based on your tone of voice and some other things. Eventually, that company was also had been acquired or merged with a similar company. And before that, and during that as well, I was helping additional companies as board member or usually VP business development companies such as EPOS Technologies that did a wireless digital pen and later was acquired by Qualcomm, a company called PointGrab that was doing computer vision based technologies, and we licensed the technology to companies such as Samsung and others. So that's pretty much what I'm doing for the rest of my career, taking innovative technologies in early stage, help take them into the market, build out of them real products, teams, bring the partners, the customers, the funding, and create exciting companies out of them.
Well, that's quite excellent to use your talents, skills, and knowledge to take an idea to the market. So many companies start with the idea, they sound like they're going to be the ceiling breaker, but they don't have someone to make a sale. And that's a requisite leg of a company. And congratulations on having done so many so frequently. which takes us really to Water IO. And here you are making a big change. This is such a fascinating market. There is quite a bit of competition in it, and yet there's room for clear innovation for a group to be the number one in smart water and personal hydration. I've been to your offices and I've seen your data board of where water is being used. It's fascinating. I loved it. Tell us a little bit more about how you even came up with the idea as a co-founder and how you are bringing it to market and which markets you're bringing it to.
Sure, that's a fascinating story. So, the daughter of my partner, one of my two partners, Kobe, and the CEO of the company, has repeatedly got sick. And eventually, one of the smarter doctors they went to simply said, "Well, your daughter is not drinking enough water. She's not hydrating enough." And we kind of scratched our heads and said, "Okay, how can it be?" And we started to study that problem. And it seems that that's a well-known but yet not well-reported uh, issue. We all need to drink water. Actually, it's the second important thing in our life after breathing. People cannot survive without water for too long. On our day-to-day, nobody almost dehydrate in such a case that we die out of that. We always have water in modern world, but we for sure, and there are many researchers about it, that we don't drink enough water. And apparently, it means that our brain has been affected, our body has been affected, our skin, our focus, and many other things. So that's how we came up with the Water IO. We understood that even small sips can make a big difference in people's well-being. And what we did in order to help people with that is to build this Water IO smart ball that has and we are on a mission on that with that ball to help people hydrate properly. And I'd be happy to share with you a little bit more about this little baby further on.
Definitely. Well, look, we're all glued to our telephones, our cell phones, and we love to have ways to map things about our own body because what's more interesting than us? And so when we're drinking water, to me, it's if I drink a glass, I score that. But apparently, your technology can tell me that drinking one glass, I actually need two, or I've had enough. And you have some IP around this. So, yes, I'd be very interested to learn a little bit more.
That's correct. So what we did is we developed everything in-house, and there's a lot of wisdom and algorithms and that are embedded here, and all the wisdom goes into this very very smart and clever lid, which is rechargeable, connected through Bluetooth to a dedicated app, and using lights, LED lights, and vibrations, it actually helped me remember to drink properly along the day according to my own personal profile, which is affected by my basic parameters such as the body weight, height, and so on that I need to fill in during the onboarding process once. But then also some changes throughout my weeks and my days, including my personal activity, sport, even the weather, how hot is the day, which is relevant for hot places, but not only to hot places.
Right.
And based on all that, it helps you reach your daily hydration goal. And that's why we built that product. We started to sell it in Israel a little bit more than a year ago. It became a huge success, and therefore we also took the company to the, as you mentioned, to the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and we saw it such an enormous wave of positive responses from the market. People volunteering to write to us how much this has been changing their lives. And this is why we're doing those things. Tech can do many different things, but we are lucky to use technology to bring some health and wellness to people's lives. And following that success, we actually, and these are great news I'm happy to share with you, we just launched in the Water IO Smart Ball in the United States. We opened an Amazon store a couple of months ago, a Shopify store, and we are bringing more and more activities into the US market based on the success that we saw in Israel. So we refer to Israel as a pilot market. And based on those learnings, we went in, now we duplicated and, of course, multiplied in the US. So that's the Water IO bottle.
Are you finding that the adoption of the bottle, it goes more to one gender or another, or one age group or another, or one profession or another?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually see all the data flowing to the cloud. People, of course, anonymously and using all the GDPR and private privacy regulations. What we see, for our surprise, is that our customer base is coming from all ages, and because of different reasons. It could be people that are simply feel they don't drink enough water. It could be people that are interested in doing sport and tracking their steps, sport activity, running, and so on. People that are trying to lose weight, pregnant women or women who are breastfeeding, people that are people that like to track their overall wellness, like sleeping and so on. So all of this connected me and measure me. I would say excitement in the market is not just because Water.io. Of course, we have everything from wearables into iWatch into all kind of wearable devices. And here we have this Water.io product, which is very easily integrates into my day-to-day life. I simply drink. I let the tech do everything else behind. I don't have to change my behavior, which my personal belief is a key for having a successful product.
And the bottle is very slender, attractive, so it's easy to carry and contains sufficient water. Can I fill it up with any type of water?
Yes, definitely. It's a premium bottle that keeps the temperature for both hot and cold water for 12 hours. So yeah, the answer is you can fill it with almost any beverage, and it measures. But we recommend water and not soda.
It's beyond the bottle, though. It's really the cap that is the knowledge point.
That is true. And based on that, we also have teamed up with some top-notch companies such as PepsiCo and Gatorade and Garmin to fine-tune the experience to those customers of those companies. And we have more activity on that domain as well. And last year in 2022, PepsiCo and Gatorade, they loved our innovation and technology so much that they picked it up for their smart GX Gatorade bottle. Yeah, I have one here. That's the bottle, and actually it's also available in the US market. It's a smart connected bottle with the Impacts technology inside and the Water.io technology inside the bottle and inside the app and cloud behind that.
Would the consumer know that it's an Impacts or Water.io technology driving the Gatorade bottle?
Well, not necessarily because it's not written on the bottle, but people in the industry and people that are looking for it can find it. There are joint press releases by Gatorade and by PepsiCo with Impacts and with Water.io products. There are publicities and PR on LinkedIn and on other places. So it's well known that Water.io is the technology behind the Gatorade GX Smart Bottle.
Well, it's good to know that there's a little bit of Israel inside a Pepsi product again. Now, and I can well understand how Gatorade, which is the most popular hydration electrolyte drink out there, would want to partner with Water.io. But tell me, why does Garmin want to partner with Water.io?
So yeah, Garmin is a great brand for smart smartwatches and tracking devices, mainly focused on the people who train or active in sport, running and other kind of sports. And we have a specific co-branded version of the Water.io and Garmin balls, first marketed in Israel that is working seamlessly between both platforms. So the Water.io ball is actually working, and you can connect that through the app if you have devices such as Garmin. And the sport activity that Garmin Watch is tracking is actually taking into consideration when recommending to you how much water you need to drink today. It's based on that activity that was tracked by the Garmin Watch. We also have other devices connected to the system as well. But in the case of Garmin, we have a co-branded bottle, as I mentioned.
Is there a social element then to using this bottle where the cap is messaging information and it might help me connect with someone of like spirit?
That's a great idea, and there's definitely a social element which we haven't yet expanded into direct messaging between clients that are using a Water.io kind of networking or dating ability. That's a beautiful idea. And the current social experience is through the app. There is a kind of a wall or a flow or stream of photos that people take and upload them, in the same manner that people like to show off that they have just completed 3 miles of running or that are on the beach with their favorite, accessory. So there's a very active social life within that app, and people are commenting to each other about it and, congratulating each other about the photos. And we have beautiful photos in the app. If you use the ball, you can see that it's right on the first screen of the app, the Water.io app.
Because you have access to this information, approximately how many individuals are using the water bottle in Israel right now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. However, the many people using it, and there's a very good usage rate. We haven't published the numbers formally, and since we are a public company, so I'm not allowed to share that. But definitely, that was such a success that based on that, we extended and the activity and launched, as I mentioned, just launched and the product sales in the US. We've been in operations, support, delivery, marketing, sales, and Water.io is now being sold. And you can go, to Amazon and search for Water.io Smart Bottle and purchase it there right away. Or go to our
Yes,
website, which is a us.water.io, and do just the same.
where you're running a special for 10% off, I see as well. They,
We do.
uh,
Yeah, and we don't only work with direct consumers, we also sell to corporates, to organizations, with the employees, and we expand now the channels that we're working on.
Very nice. Now, it's interesting that many startups or earlier stage companies do fundraising. If we talk a little bit about money and what has enabled the company to grow, uh, and yet Water.io chose the path of the public markets. Would you tell us a little bit about that journey, how you decided where you were going to get growth capital from, and why you turned to the public markets as your source?
Yeah, that's an interesting story because about 2 years ago, there was a specific plan for small or relatively smaller tech companies to go and raise funding through the Israeli Tel Aviv Stock Exchange platform. And that was with a lower level of reporting and expenses that are typically required from large companies. And the thought behind it is to Israeli startup scene is, as you know, is very exciting, and thousands of companies and a lot of money in it. And simply the local stock exchange, Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, wanted to take part of that celebration and being another channel and another option for Israeli companies to raise funds. We tried that. We went to the stock exchange. We raised funds through that. It was a successful IPO. And of course, there are advantages and disadvantages for any. For me, for me and for my team, for my co-founders, partners, and our management, as well as our investors and board member. It's a exciting experience with a big opportunity and potential. And as always, there is drawbacks and advantages. For me, it's the first company that they took public. Previous ones were either privately funded or been acquired. So this is a new experience for me as well.
So it gives everyone an opportunity to be part of the Water.io experience. We can all buy a share and ride the journey, ride the wave as Water.io grows. That's very cool.
Definitely, and
Uh,
the ticker is Impacts, which is the previous name of our company, Impacts, in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange.
all right, excellent. Well, that's a good endorsement for that. The markets are ripe for investment right now, since nobody knows what's going to happen next.
That's true.
Now,
That's true.
since we're talking about next, October 7th created a big punctuation point in all of our lives. Uh, all of us woke up, normal day. I know here I am in California, and I called a friend just by chance on her Saturday morning, and she asked me if I knew what was going on. And I said, no, I'm just calling to say, hi, how are you? And at that point, I was in a state of disbelief, as I imagine you were as well. Could you share a little bit about what were your first thoughts and what you've been doing since with respect to supporting the state of Israel through this terrible, horrific event that Hamas has perpetrated against Israel?
Yeah, definitely. So, I think for Americans, it's this is very similar to as a milestone in our future memories, as if people always will remember where they have been when they first heard about 9/11 event, or JFK been shot, for the ones who are old enough to remember that. For me, I was on a family vacation in Greece with my kids and my wife, and actually I couldn't believe what I just simply opened the news during my morning coffee, and suddenly it was like a real of course, unbelievable story to look at. It's almost a science fiction. And since then, of course, Israel has been facing a major situation since October 7th, and that horrible attack by Hamas, a terror organization, which, by the way, not only Jewish people, but also Muslim and Druze, Arabs were affected by in Israel, all Israeli citizens, and murders, kidnapped, sexual assault. There's a lot of information, all kind of war crimes that were done by Hamas. I think now, we are taking this interview at the beginning of December. There's a war that is going on with IDF is now getting into Gaza and with a mission to actually win Hamas and destroy their infrastructure of that terrorist organization. Here on a personal level, myself, my company, my team, my partners, and my family, we are all involved in different civilian activities or reserve duties. So we volunteer, we donate funds and equipment to both civilians and soldiers and their families who were affected. There are many fantastic initiatives in Israel by the civil society. Each one of us is doing what we can and how we can. I think it's an opportunity for a lot of beautiful things to happen, and we see the Israeli spirit behind it, which for me it's very encouraging and not surprising, and yet I'm very happy about that. It's about the Israeli characteristics that has been revealed always in those crisis situations.
Is there a particular organization that you find yourself spending time in during these past 2 months?
One that I'd like to highlight is Brothers Sisters for Israel, that is called the Achim Laneshek, and definitely a very, very impressive way to see how people like you and me, putting the money, putting the time, putting the wisdom, many of those folks coming also from tech industry, some of which I know in person, and building infrastructure that includes thousands of people that are volunteering and creating massive help in places where there are vacuums. And it's Israel, so every place where people see a problem, they would like to jump in and see how we can solve that problem. I find it very, very.
I understand that Brothers and Sisters for Israel has over 50,000 volunteers in Israel, which is an astounding number.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I am not familiar with the number, but I wouldn't be surprised. But again, this is a beautiful, exciting organization. But there are dozens, if not hundreds, of more initiatives. Some are online, some are about social media and fake reports, some are about cooking, helping the agriculture industry to have work in the field instead of foreign employees that left after or during the war after the attack. So there are plenty of initiatives, and we need everyone who can help. Plus, many people that are coming from abroad. One of the companies I'm working with in the States, it's a great design company from New York. One of their employees is now working in Israel. She simply took a flight and flew here to Israel to help while she was on her honeymoon. So again, I would like to thank this opportunity, all the American people helping us, people coming from Europe, from all other places in the world, helping Israel in these circumstances. Indeed, it is an exceptional time with this after this terrible terror attack.
Yoav, what do you see happening over the next 12 months for the Israeli economy, for Water.io, for the general sentiment around the world, since there's so much opinion that seems to have been released in every single country?
Yeah, that's true. So this is this question with few levels. I try to be very brief on that. First of all, I don't know. It's important to say, many people have many opinions. It's really a unique situation that hard to learn or predict based on past learning, simply because this is the most violent attack that happened in Israel in terms of casualties since Israel was founded, and also the most violent attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. So there's not enough database to try and foresee what will happen. As for my personal belief, I'm an optimistic, very optimistic guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't go and be entrepreneur in tech industry. And a multi-time entrepreneur. So eventually the war will be over, and Israel will be on top, and we'll have more resources and time to fix things that need to be fixed in different levels. Again, some of it is political level, some of it is uh, with our neighbors and so on. And people will get back from reserves duty. Now there are many people out there, so the economy is also affected because people are not at their jobs or with their families, but they're in Gaza fighting. So first of all, I wish all the kidnapped hostages and all soldiers will be back home peacefully and healthy. That's the most important thing. And people will get back to their lives, and then economy and the tech industry and startup nation environment proved for many times before that it is a very flexible and strong one here in Israel. So it's not the first cycle of violence that we experienced, and always we managed to do better and grow beyond what was before each cycle. So there's no reason it won't happen. And now, I think some of the complexity in the current situation is the environment in some parts of the world, anti-Israel or anti-Jews demonstration. This really hurt me because I think listening and reading some of those posts and articles, I think there's a lot of ignorance and a lot of room for more data and more facts. People sometimes want to be fashioned about something, and they say things that I'm not sure all are well thought, and the meaning behind those phrases and so on. So yeah, this will require additional work of media and explanations and time as well. Eventually, things will go better, and things also are better than right now than in October 7th, when at that day some of the kidnapped have been released. We really hope all of them will be released as soon as possible. Some of the Hamas infrastructure was destroyed. I personally really hope extremists shouldn't control the Gaza or the Palestinian people, but rather than that, kind of leadership that is willing to compromise and to live side by side. So yeah, let's be optimistic that the things will be better. There's no reason why it won't be based on our past experience.
It's a beautiful sentiment, and we hope for neighbors that are good neighbors and an economy that can be shared and lift everybody up. Now, Yoav, one other area that I wanted to briefly explore with you is the energy that you've got that you take into a hobby that is more than such in your bag of tricks music world. What instrument are you playing? How many members are in your band, and where can we hear you?
Yeah, that's true. So I'm a musician in my free time, and I love very much to play music. I usually um, original music with some good friends and good musicians. And my preferred style is funk rock and funky music and more groove music. So I'm playing in different groups. The one that you are very much invited to our next show and listen also online is called Bag of Tricks. You can go to Bag of Tricks Music on Instagram and YouTube and see some of our work. Again, it's purely amateur. We don't make money out of that. We actually invest money in that hobby, but it gives us it's part of my personal wellness and reasons to do things. I'm lucky to do things that I love, both in business, both in whom I partner with to build companies and which investors, which entrepreneurs, and also on my free time. So I remember to thank for that and for my luck.
Yoav, as I think about all the businesses that you've been involved in, they all revolve around a little bit the head and the hand, the ability to use your voice and your hands for music as a pianist in the band, the ability to understand the tone of voice, the ability to track a gesture, the ability to understand a little bit of the direction of the mind, and of course, the ability to understand how we drink water through our mouth that affects the body. It sounds like you've spent your career really helping to use all of our faculties in an extraordinary way. So thank you very much for bringing so much technology to market, so many ideas, and the talent of moving it as a businessman from concept to a store near you. So with that, Water.io, we will be shopping online and helping to increase sales for the company while we help ourselves. Thank you very much, Yoav.
Thank you very much, Arona. It was great talking with you as always, and hope to see you next time you're in Israel. Keep safe.
Yes, thank you very much. Shalom.
Shalom.
To see more conversations with extraordinary Israeli entrepreneurs, visit theisraelconference.org.